Hi everyone, this is the Hindu Daily newspaper analysis and I am Gaurav. Today is 14th July, so let's start with today's editorial. So today is 14th July, right? And we are going to talk about two important articles in today's editorial. Generally, today's editorial is based on the political reasons, like because of nepotism and the government's governance issue in the Rajasthan. So we are not going to talk about that because that is not that important for examination point. But today's important part, we are going to talk about this article that we have in front of us is gains from the rains. So let's talk about what is there in this article from the monsoon. So gains from the rains, a steady, well spread monsoon spells good news for farmers and the economy. So let's talk about the monsoon, how it helps to the farmers, because generally in this time we are only hearing about bad news everywhere. There is some sufferings by everyone. So let's talk about something good here. So far India appears to be having a good run with the monsoon. As of the most recent data available from Indian Meteorological Department, right? So I am here. So let's start with that. The rainfall during the season has been 14% more than what is usual for this period. Okay, the month of June only accounts for about 17% of the monsoon rainfall spanning June to September. It is the month during which the monsoon sets in, and that process can sometimes be delayed for as much as a week. So June में the monsoon set in June, and we are talking about that, right? So follow with me. Let's start with the next part. The June is also when the monsoon begins its journey from two extremities of the countries, right? Two extremities. What are two extremities? We are going to talk about from north to south, right? So these are the two extremities, and from east to west. So let's talk about what is there. On the branch side, it journeys northwards from Kerala and the other wing called the Bay of Bengal. So there is Kerala, as you know, in the map. So let's talk about what is there in the map. So like we have India's map like this, right? So Bay of Bengal is here, from monsoon attacks from here and in the Kerala side, right? So this is the what they are talking about, extremities of the countries. Now called the Bay of Bengal branch, enters India from southeast. Both branches eventually converge in north, and usually this merging and strengthening of the monsoon currents over the mainlands. So they actually converge in the north. So after going from the south, they move like this and go towards north, where someone goes to the Rajasthan, where the monsoon enters from two sides, as I already told you, Kerala and Bay of Bengal, and then this goes like this. So let's move on. So both branches, when they eventually converge in the north, and usually this merging and strengthening of the monsoon currents over the mainland takes at least till July 15th. The Indian Meteorological Department never forecast the possible rainfall likely during June because of the vagaries involved in onset and pace of journey. This year, two significant things happened. The monsoon set in the textbook date of June 1. This was even after uh, concerns that cyclone Amphan that had ravaged West Bengal and would delay the monsoon entry into the India from Andaman Sea. So earlier it was predicted that the monsoon will be delayed because the cyclone Amphan was there, but that that part of our prediction is not right, and we got monsoon in early time, and the rain is good for the farming. Let's talk about how is it that the second factor was the record place at which the monsoon covered the country. Along with the monsoon onset this year, the IMD is Indian Meteorological Department announced a revision in the onset and withdrawal dates across the several cities. According to this, the monsoon covered India's northern and western borders no later than July 8, as opposed to the previous historical date of July 15. So you can see the difference of time between the two. So 7 days earlier, it has knocked the country's sides. So this is what is being mentioned here, borders. So this year, however, the monsoon broke even this speed limit and covered the country by June 25 as a pace that it was unprecedented since 2013. So I think there is changes today's times because of the mostly the environmental changes. As you know, this decrease in the pollution level and various also different things happen throughout the time. So it may be the result of entire changes. Let's talk about what is the net result of all this. many rainy days in June, and fairly even distribution across the country. The IMD's record shows that only on 4 days in the month did daily rainfall drop below its historical normal, except, right, only 4 days, except for Northwest India, which is starting at 3% deficit. The northwest is Rajasthan side. The rainfall is in east, south, and central India has posted surplus of 13 to 20%. So there is increase in the rainfall with 13 to 20% in the central and as well as east and south. So, while good rains in June signals farmers to prepare the soil and sow kharif crops, the most important months are July and August. The 2 months accounts for two-thirds of the monsoon rain. So this is the important months, July and August, right? So this is also the time for monsoon goes into so-called breaking conditions. Prolonged breaks or in absence of rainfall can even lead to drought. So in today's article, I am talking about this monsoon so that you can understand what is actually happens during the monsoon season in the country. So this is important article. I prefer you to continue it and read it properly. In spite of insignificant improvements in data gathering and technological advancements, meteorological agencies cannot yet reliably forecast the advent of breaking or how long it can last, right? So what is critical is that normal rains also obscure the possibility of heavy rains or severe droughts in districts or over larger areas. Therefore, both heavy rain and severe droughts are not good, right? So, therefore, short and medium range forecast needs to be strengthened and effectively communicated to the people. So, we need a better forecast system, short term forecast, so that we can know whether the situation can be heavy rain or drought condition, so that the farmers will remain prepared and everybody is prepared for what comes in the future, right? So, this is what we talked about here. So let's move on to the next article. In the first article you can see this enabling people to govern themselves. So this is the pandemic showing of flaws in the governance institutions. This is better way to humanity to face new challenges. So we have already talked about this too much. You can read, you can, if you want, you can read this. For those who don't know, I have a Telegram channel and you can download my PDF for this editorial from the Telegram channel. Just it is mentioned in the description and link is given in that, so you can download it for free from that link, right? So just join my channel, and let's move on to the next important article which I'm going to talk about here is this. It is mentioned here the politics and nepotism, which is not we are not going to talk about this article. So the next article will be this yet another challenge to the Dalit movement. So what is there in this Dalit movement? Let's see. The language of mobilization needs to be changed, right? So what is there is the pandemic is forcing us to understand the changing nature of society in North India especially. It was also reshaped the discourse of marginalization. Dalit issues are part of discourse that are submerged in the broader discussions on economic vulnerabilities highlighted by COVID-19. So they are relating the Dalits problems when the COVID-19 pandemic have emerged in the country also, the more further uh, magnification of the problems of the Dalit has happened. So what is this we are going to talk about? Let's see the second para. What this says: this pandemic has brought about two important shifts in the political discourse on the marginalized, as the lockdown caused untold suffering to poor migrant laborers is brought down is brought has brought them from the margins to the center of deliberations. Second, discussions on the space of the marginalized is the public health system and their safety are in focus. So these two topics which are being talked about here, so health system and the helping to the poor people like Dalits who are generally migrant laborers and poor. So the conditions are worsening because of the crisis. However, the concerns of Dalits remains hidden under the border categories of poor, vulnerable, and marginal, etc. So changing vocabulary. We're not going to read about this article. Let's think about what is the leadership crisis is here, right? So during the Bahujan movement in 1990s, the idea was the movement and the uh, party could facilitate each other, but the BSP, which emerges from the Bahujan social movement, developed gradually as a party structured like a pyramid. So under Mrs. Mayawati, it has stopped its reciprocal relationship with the Dalit movement. In the BSP, the emergence of political leaders of various Dalit Bahujan castes at different levels become frozen. So this is what talking about the BSP party, how it lead to the how they have lead in this Dalit movement. So it was earlier on the shoulders of BSP party, but right now this there is no such leadership provided for this movement of Dalit to help them. So this is what is there. So this caused erosion in the border social base, ultimately weakened the Dalit movement. So while on the one hand the Bahujan movement allowed numerically important Dalit Bahujan communities to have political aspirations, on the other the freeze on the emergence of leaders at various levels smashed political ambitions, destroyed the initiatives of Kedar, and hampered the natural growth of party and movement. So Dalit movement is constantly facing new challenges, but its leaders are not able to change their strategies and grammar of politics to respond to them. Okay, so this is what is talking about. So there is politics involved in Dalit movement that we have talked about in this paragraph. If you want, you can download this article from my Telegram channel and read the entire paragraph what is mentioned. Let's see in the last para what is there. Dalit movement has to evolve now social strategies for its expansion in order to keep up with the changing times. So we can see that Dalit movement is diminishing and nobody talks about the Dalit problems. And this is what because of the leadership like BSP party is all this going down. So this is what they have talked about in this article, right? So I'm ending my today's session here. So thank you for being with me and God bless you. Goodbye.